I wish for at least a day without bloodshed. A day where we mustn't toil in our labors from dawn until dusk, just to feed our families. A day to bond between neighbors and brothers, and spread merriment throughout the city. A day to give gifts to all and witness the smile on everyone's faces as they forget the horrors of the outside world, if only for a day. And that day is today. For today is Saturalia. Welcome back to another video, everyone. I'm Neloth as always, and today we are going to be discussing the holiday of Saturalia, which exists in the Elder Scrolls universe. There is very little information on this holiday, and I wish to encapsulate all the information that I researched into one easily digestible video, and also discuss some theories and aspects of the holiday that I picked up along the way. But what in oblivion is Saturalia, you may ask? Well, that is a very valid question, for it's a holiday with very little to zero presence in the Elder Scrolls games, with it only being prevalent in Daggerfall and Elder Scrolls Online. The only other instance where it has been mentioned is in Skyrim with a Creation Club mod called the Saturalia Holiday Pack, but that mod, in all fairness, was pretty shit, adding only one merchant with zero dialogue, a reindeer, and some clothes. But to the central topic of the video, Saturalia is primarily a Breton holiday, although there are certain cultures that have adopted aspects of it, like the Forebear Redguards in southern Hammerfell, and the Khajiit in Elsewhere, who refer to their Saturalia as Saturalia Bandar Gift Swap. Now, this holiday takes place on the same day as the real-world holiday of Christmas, on the 25th of Evening Star, although unlike Christmas, the theme of religion is much less prevalent, with the exception of one notable figure I will be discussing later. The primary theme of the holiday is gift-giving, parties, and parades, with an excess amount of drinking on the side. Saturalia is seen more as an interlude to herald in the Old Life Day and New Life Day holidays, which is similar to that of New Year's Eve and New Year's Day, and shares quite a few themes with Saturalia. There are certain legends and myths that surround Saturalia. Most interestingly is the myth of a red-stained and snow-haired knight that flies through the sky on a sleigh driven by either a reindeer or a winged bull. This fabled knight's name is Nicholas and is seen as one of the saints of the Aedra who brings gifts to those of good heart. Now, what is most intriguing about this red-stained and snow-haired knight Nicholas is that, yes, he resembles that of Santa Claus, aka Old Saint Nick, but he also, weirdly enough, resembles that of Pelin-El Whitestrake. Pelin-El Whitestrake is the star-made knight who is described as having white hair even in youth, and white hair gone brown with elf blood. And don't forget, Nicholas is described as being a red-stained and snow-haired knight. Now, I know that does sound like a bit of a stretch, but the color white and the stain of red blood is often used to describe Pelin-El. And the biggest kicker that I think cements the correlation is that a Argonian named Aizver, one of the only sources of information about Saturalia, specifically Nicholas, mentions how he can't remember if Nicholas flies with a reindeer or a winged bull. But Pelin-El Whitestrake had a companion named Moriaus, who was a minotaur often referred to as a winged bull. This hint in the lore seems way too coincidental to just not mean anything. And this connection makes sense. Breton pantheons often revere both Saint Alicia and Pelin-El Whitestrake as saints, so it is very intriguing how Nicholas and Pelin-El Whitestrake may be the same person, which is a common theme with Elder Scrolls, different characters ending up being the same. Take Tiber Septim, for example, also known as Talos, Hjalti Earlybeard, Ysmir, and many other names. Although I must admit, I never expected the Bretons to turn Pelin-El Whitestrake into fucking Santa Claus. Now, one aspect of Saturalia that I neglected to mention is the origins of Saturalia, and how they connect to the Daedric Prince of Debauchery, Lord Sanguine himself. Supposedly, there was another holiday before Saturalia that worshippers of Sanguine would partake in, but the Bretons turned whatever this holiday was into Saturalia. The bastards. Most likely, this would-be holiday was less about gift-giving and parades and primarily more about drinking, which makes sense for the Lord of Debauchery. However, this unknown holiday possibly had a much darker meaning, because Lord Sanguine's influence isn't just debauchery, it is also lust, sloth, and gluttony. So it can be assumed that this now child-friendly gift-giving holiday of Saturalia was once a much more promiscuous and adult-themed holiday. When Khajiit celebrates Saturalia, or as they call it, Saturalia Bandar Gift Swap, they would have their own secret sanguine who you would give a present to. Whether or not the Khajiit celebrate Saturalia in a dark way like it used to be long ago, however, is unknown, but the implementation of sanguine in the Khajiit celebration of Saturalia proves that this Daedric lord is intrinsically tied to this holiday, even if from the shadows, or more likely, behind a cold mug of ale. Maybe during Saturalia, he will enter Tamriel as his alternate persona Sam Gwyven, like he did with the Dragonborn, and tried to spread his not-so-holy merriment and make the day less devout and more dark. And that's all I wrote, all of the officially canon lore surrounding the holiday of Saturalia. Researching this video was actually quite a bit of fun, because what I thought would have been a simple 1 to 2 minute video ended up being around 6 goddamn minutes long, and being able to theorize Nicholas is actually a festive version of Pelin-El Whitestrake was simply fascinating to uncover, and its lore I don't even think Fudge Muppet would have found, or at least bothered to uncover themselves. They have bigger fish to fry. With all that being said, I hope you enjoyed the video. It was again a genuine pleasure to make. And to reward my labor on such a festive lore video and a festive occasion, consider liking the video and liking the subscribe button down below, as well as hitting that bell notification too. And I will see you whenever the fuck I decide to upload again. House Telvanni be with you.
Please, O hero of Skyrim,